What's going on, everybody? So, we're taking a slight break for our four levels of growth video, and I kind of want to touch on something that I was prompted to share, and that was my story, right? And the reason why was because of a coaching session that I had today with Coach Janelle, and we were just talking, and I told her my story and how she reacted and how she actually saw so much value in just what my story was going from nothing to becoming an entrepreneur. She urged me that I should actually share this with other people as well. And so here we are. So this is my story, right? So entrepreneurship wasn't something that I actually chased. Entrepreneurship found me. But like in this journey didn't come with struggles, right? My journey had struggles just like everybody else's. And so I faced a lot of things that really should have taken me off the map, right? As an entrepreneur, it should have took me off the map and I should not be here. So when I first started, I thought that the people that was closest to me would have encouraged me to start entrepreneurship or even just start on this journey. I thought that would encourage me. But instead, I found that I was met with doubt and rejection. Like people people told me that I don't think you know what you're doing. And they questioned why I was even trying to even get started in this space. Like that for me hurt me to my core because I thought that the people closest to me would have supported me the most. But what it did was it fueled me to actually prove them wrong. But it also fueled me to want to prove myself right. Right. By betting on myself, I wanted to prove myself right. That I knew that I could actually do this. So, as a broke college student, saving up for a camera in my first photography business, which was $400, that was a lot. But it took a leap of faith for me to actually go out and buy it. Truly, honestly, now that I'm thinking about the price, it was more like 700. But starting out, I didn't have a way to actually do it. I didn't have a a mentor in the beginning to help me get to where I was trying to go. All I had was a hobby, a dream, and a willingness to actually invest in myself, right? And so I also really started finding my footing when I started doing photography, right? I started learning, I started doing the things. I had someone to help me and show me the ropes, but it was still a struggle. Life be lifing, right? But in my season of learning photography, I learned a lot of things. I learned what it actually took to start and grow something. Something that started out as just a hobby turned into entrepreneurship, right? And so really just understanding this path may help you overcome the things that you've actually faced and what you're currently facing in in this season. So each one of my challenges actually taught me something, and it taught me something about entrepreneurship and faith, right? So I have 5 lessons that I actually want to give you guys to help you on your journey, not just in business, but in life through my life, right? Lesson number 1, take a chance on yourself. Even though I had a lack of support from family and friends, I chose to believe in myself and invest in the dream that I was given. That $400 camera wasn't just an investment in like photography. It wasn't just an investment in photography. It was an investment in me, right? I invested in me. and not being able to put language to it back then, I understand now. An investment in you goes a long way. It goes further than any investment in other people. So even though I didn't know what I was doing, I was actually willing to take that first step. I was willing to start. Entrepreneurship starts with believing in yourself, even when nobody else does. So, like when I made that decision, I learned that the first step doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, all my edges are straight. No, it's going to look rough at first. But just like a piece of marble that people build into statues or sculptures, it starts off as a rough draft until you start chipping away at the edges to where it becomes that smooth surface. But the thing is, that first step has to be taken. It has to be taken. Nobody else will actually believe in your dream until you actually show them why they should. Even if nobody else believes in you, taking that first leap of faith for yourself is the foundation to every one of your successes. So, going from photography and getting my first camera, I learned that betting on myself was the only option. And guess what? Over time, I was able to get my first client. I was able to understand what pricing actually looked like, and learning from YouTube videos and all that, it didn't help, right? It didn't it helped to a certain extent. But the thing is, once you actually get that first step started, what do you have to do? You got to seek knowledge, and you actually have to practice, and you practice and practice. You don't need to be perfect when you start. You just need to take action and keep going. Keep practicing. I didn't stop at just buying the camera. If I would have just stopped at buying the camera, what what benefit would I have with the camera if I didn't go out and actually use it? So I looked at mentors that could actually help me. And this is virtual mentors like Peter McKinnon and other things. I asked people who I thought would actually help me to show me the ropes, right? So I needed someone to actually just point me in the right direction instead of me just trying to figure it out on my own. So I looked at every tutorial on YouTube. I looked at every video on how to do this and how to do that. And I had to go out and practice all that. So my thing is, what I learned from it was actually having the tools ain't just it's not enough, right? You actually have to use them consistently. Growth only happens when you actually allow what you learn to be put into action, right? So there's times where I actually doubted myself. That imposter syndrome came in to where it was just like, can you really do this? The people that said you couldn't do it, you proving them right. You're not good enough. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. Yo, that mind frame of where I was of trying to prove other people wrong, I had to switch it to proving myself right. Even though I doubted myself, I continued to work. I continued to put the work in. I had to grind to where now, instead of me being incompetent in this photography thing, I became competent. And but by me being competent, I gained confidence. People started seeing my worth as a photographer. And with that, they told other people about me. And then it just trickled on from there, right? So I put in the hours. I put in all the work that I needed to, so I could actually be in the space where I saw myself being with my vision, in the space where the people before me, they didn't see it. But guess what? They're not going to see it. People who've never been in the space or taken a leap of faith like that will never see the thing that you're trying to see. Your vision is not their vision, right? So remember, it's not about getting it right the first time. You're gonna have doubts, you're gonna have struggles. But Make sure that you keep going and refine your skills every day. Grow, build, start small, but always stay consistent. You will see the results over time, right? And so after my whole photography thing, COVID happened. And by this point, I was able to buy my second camera. As soon as I bought my second camera, man, right? I bought my second camera. That's when COVID hit and the world was shut down. And then life started life again. Personally, more bills started adding on to me because of certain situations that happened. I didn't see this coming. God moved me from the job that I was working at for about 4 years. He said, "No, it's time to go." He had been telling me over and over it was time to go, but I wasn't listening. He said, "It's time to move." I said, "Huh?" He said, "It's time to move." Huh? Right. So I kept playing like I didn't hear him the first time. And so he had to move me out of there forcefully. I got fired from my job. But here's the thing, I heard what God had told me. So when the situation happened, it was just like, oh, okay. Well, God, you didn't move me out this situation. So what's next? What we got? And so a few months went by, life started lifing again. I tore my Achilles. I tore my Achilles with no health insurance at all. God provided in that moment. And so I started seeing where God was taking me. Because here's the thing, even though I didn't have insurance, my mom wanted me to go to the ER, but I was like, no, I'm just go to the student health center. I'm gonna just go to the student health center on campus. So that way I'll be all right. Even though I wasn't tripping over the Achilles injury at first, I really wasn't tripping at all because I said, God got it. When I went in there, God showed me that I still got you, my son, because they asked me, do you have insurance? I said, no, I do not. I was like, that's okay. There's a program that you could probably qualify for if they have the funding. They'll take care of your surgery and everything. So I was like, okay. And that same day, God showed me your faith got you here. I was able to have my surgery and therapy right after. But in the midst of me rehabbing from my Achilles surgery, I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything. Right. So how was I actually going to make money? God broke me down so much in this season to where I had a thing where I never wanted to ask for help because of all the letdowns and the setbacks and the things that people wasn't supporting me with. I said, I'm not going to ask for help. Why do I need their help? For what? But God showed me and he broke me down to the point where it was just like, ask for help. I put your community around you so that you can lean on them. And I was able to lean on them. And that spirit of pride that I had in myself was broken. And so now my lease is about to be up at my job. My lease is about to be up. I don't know what I'm about to do. I don't have a job. I'm still rehabbing. So I say, God, I have all these bills. I have a car note. I have insurance. I have credit cards. What am I supposed to do in this season? Help me. And so I had an option to go either move back in with my mom's, which was about 2 hours away, or I could trust God. And you can only imagine what my decision was, right? It's easy. I decided to trust God. I got looked at every type of way because of the decision and the things that I saw God having for me. I believe that he was going to take care of me, just like how he took care of me with the Achilles surgery and the therapy. And so I stayed with one of my best friends for about a month on an air mattress. And after I saw that time was about to be up there, God bless me to be able to stay with my brother, my one of my best friends, right? He allowed me to stay on his couch for a year and a half, without ever asking me for a dime. Even when I offered, he was like, "No, you good. You good." And so in this time, God showed me that one, he covered me with his favor. And then two, he was building me as an entrepreneurship, as an entrepreneur in this journey. How? At this point, I couldn't physically work. So what I have a car, I have these things. What can I use right now that's in my pocket, that's in my vicinity to make money so that way I can keep the car so I won't be behind on anything. Uber. Yep, Uber. So in parallel with my photography, I started doing Uber. And with Uber, I was able to make the same amount, if not more money in a week doing Uber than I did at my last job. I was able to make twice as much, if not more, in a week doing Uber than I did at my last job. So, lesson number 3 is trust God's timing, right? Setbacks ain't roadblocks. They're redirections towards your purpose, right? One of the most pivotal moments in my life, in my journey, was losing my job. I didn't want to leave, but God had to move me on out of there. And so, in my season of not knowing what to do, remember, I told my Achilles I couldn't work. My pride had to be dismantled. The only thing that I had to do was actually trust God and his timing. Everything came at the right timing. I couldn't rely on my plans because they kept falling apart. Instead, I leaned on his plans. And even when I didn't fully understand what his plans was at the time, I still followed. I still trusted him. If you feel like that you're stuck in the season waiting and struggling, you just got to trust that God is preparing the way for you. And for what's next, he got you. Remember, remember for me, I didn't know where I was going after my lease was up at my apartment, but God made a way through friends. Delays aren't denials, they're often divine detours to where he wants to take you. So, with doing Uber, the value that I got out of doing Uber as an entrepreneur at this point, because doing Uber is being in entrepreneurship. If you want to be technical, according to the IRS, if you're in the pursuit of profit, you're considered a business. Let that stick with you. If you're in the pursuit of profit, you are a business. You're just a sole proprietor if you don't have no LLC. But neither here nor there. The thing that really got me was, and this is lesson 4, value the service over money. I actually liked doing Uber at the time. I really liked doing Uber. Why? Because I was able to help people get to from one place to the next. And in between those things, we would have great conversations. Even though the conversation would be on like 7 minutes, it was great conversation. The success wasn't about money. It was about the impact. It was about serving others. Serving others has been my biggest reward thus far. And because I was able to serve others well, God always took care of me regardless of the fact, right? He always took care of me regardless of the fact, right? And it it was just astounding to me, right? Serving others is my biggest reward. Not was, not has been, is. So driving for Uber while building my business as a photographer, it taught me this: true success isn't about how much money you make. It's about how many lives that you can impact. How many lives can you impact? I was able to help a lot of people just through conversation as an Uber driver. I did my best as an Uber driver. I did my best as a photographer. And at the time, I was literally driving people from where they were to where they need to be. And now, as an entrepreneur, now I help entrepreneurs make that same journey spiritually, mentally, financially. I help entrepreneurs go from where they were to where they need to be. I help these people go from where they started to where they need to be, serving others. So when your shift goes to focusing on actually serving people and not just earning money, when you go from serving people and not just earning money, man, you unlock a whole new level of fulfillment, a whole new level of success. And it's going to go way further than a paycheck. The impact always outlasts the income, regardless of the fact. Think about Solomon. Think about Solomon. Solomon was one of the wisest people ever. And because of his impact, his name still rings to this day. There's nobody to this day that is way wealthier than what Solomon ever was because of his impact. Not because of the income, but because of his impact. The value that people saw in him is what people need to see in you. And so after the whole Uber thing, because of that season of me staying with my bro was coming to an end, God showed me that it was coming to an end. And so I had to make a move. I was applying to the jobs already, but God finally opened the door to a job that pays me significantly more than what I was making with Uber. I wanted to continue to doing Uber. I wanted to continue to do it. Why? Because it gave me true fulfillment. It gave me true fulfillment. Why? Because I was serving people and actually seeing the results of these people. I had recurring people coming to me as an Uber driver that was like, "Oh, we got we got you again." Right? I served them well, right? So shifting from Uber to my job, there were some things that I had to learn because I wasn't in survival mode anymore. I was in a thriving season now. I'm able to support myself. I'm able to have my own place, pay for my own bills, right? And so even still, I didn't want that entrepreneurship journey to really stop. Not for me, because I saw the fulfillment and the impact that it made. I wanted to keep it going. And because I wanted to keep it going, I started building another foundation. I started using that photography and I started using that to say, okay, how can I help people in the same way that I was helping people with Uber? That moves us into lesson number 5. Build your foundation before you even move or scale, right? Growth is only sustainable when you actually strengthen the habits and the mindset and the faith that you already have, right? You want to grow in these areas because without these areas, you're going to fail. When I finally got the job, I could have stayed in survival mode. I could have stayed, oh man, I need to go do this. But my mindset had to change. And so I saw this as a chance to actually invest in myself personally, spiritually, and financially. So before you actually start scaling your business or growing or scaling your life, you got to first build a solid foundation. My first foundation is in God. right? Because without God, none of this will have ever been, not even the job that I have. And so, first, trusting Him to lead you to where you actually need to be. This means thinking over the habits, rethinking your priorities, developing a discipline for yourself so you can become the person that's worthy of success. Just like I'm doing now. I had to become a person that's worthy of success. Because if I wasn't, God wasn't going to trust me with more. Why would he? Why would he? God doesn't just bless us with more. He prepares us to handle it. And that's always my prayer. Because truth be told, I don't want to go back to that season of having to survive. I don't want to go back there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to trust the one who created me, the one who sustained me, the one who's continually growing me. And I'm going to walk on that path so that way I can see the real vision that God gave me years ago of where my family is going to be, where I'm going to be, how I'm going to help and serve others. That's really where I want to be at, that fulfillment stage. Like every step that we go through is just a step closer to what our purpose is. The stronger your foundation, the higher you can actually build without the stairs crumbling up under you. Right? You don't want to get so high and just be standing on cards, on dominoes. I want to have a skyscraper. Not literally, but I want to have a skyscraper. So high to the point where I know the higher I go, I know I'm gonna be good because the foundation was built well. So I've told you what my story is because it's continually being written from starting out with entrepreneurship as a hobby with photography, having people doubt me, having people not trust and saying things about me, moving into a season of survival after I've been successful as an entrepreneur, right? To a season of growing and scaling and really impacting others. So I've told you my story. You know me like a book. I'm I've made mistakes. I've been able to learn these things so that way I can help y'all save the time. Y'all don't need to spend 6 to 8 years learning the same things that I've already been through. For what? That's why I'm helping other people. That's why I'm a coach. That's why I'm really just here for you. So what challenges are you facing right now? Are you stuck in doubt? You wrestling with the setbacks? You don't even know what your next step is? I want you to know that these struggles don't define your future. They prepare you for it. They don't define your future. They prepare you for it. So what I want you to do is take that first step today. Take that first step. Whether it's building a new habit, starting a new side hustle and don't even let the side hustle be something that you feel like you got to work for. Let it be a hobby, something that you enjoy doing. And then it turns into a side hustle. Or you got to trust God with the process. I want you to do that right now. Trust God with the process. And if you're ready for guidance, I love to help shorten the gap that you have today. I want to help you build a strong foundation for your journey. That's why I'm giving you the keys with the 4 levels of growth. That's why I'm giving it to you. That's why I had to break in between the first and second level to give you this story because I really feel like you need this inspiration to show you that, man, I started with nothing. Nothing. A broke college student, right? So looking back, I see that everything that I've went through, the challenges, the rejection, the the financial strains, right? All the setbacks, it was God's way of shaping me for this moment. My story is proof that with faith and persistence, you, right? You can overcome anything. You can overcome anything. The journey won't be easy. I'm not telling you that entrepreneurship is easy, but what I tell you is that it is worth it. It is worth it. It's fulfilling. Yeah, you're gonna go on a roller coaster ride, but it's way better than what people make it out to be. As long as you have your eyes in the right direction. Trust in God's plan, take bold steps, and never stop believing that He has greater things for you. Entrepreneurship isn't just a path to income. It's not. It's a path to impact. And you're capable and worthy of both of them. So I want to help you grow your impact, your influence, and your income. Because at the end of the day, God has already promised us all of it. All of it. So that's my story. That's all I have for you. So I know this was a breaking our 4 levels of growth series, but we starting with the third foundation, with the third level of growth, right? So I don't know what number this is in our live member series, but hey, I'm enjoying this a lot, giving this value to you. So if you find value in any of this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you got from this story. I really want to hear your story as well. So follow me on YouTube at Marion M. Davis, on Instagram, the Marion Davis. I love to connect with you. So until the next time, I'll see y'all tomorrow for the third level of growth. Peace, y'all.